Was that before you talked to the chancellor or after?
That was before. She and I really sat down to talk about the commitments. If you remember when that happened, I was still in the information gathering stages.
So you didn't have your list?
Not a thing. Of course, Mike's someone I always talk to. He would certainly be on there, but he had, I believe, his profile with an institution. Otherwise, I would just tell you to visit with him. I can't tell you exactly why.
Was this process when you met with coaches, was it similar when you were looking for a basketball and football coach at state?
Yes, very similar. Guys, at the bottom line, I was a football coach for a long time, and I was a recruiting coordinator for most of that, or part of it. And I don't know how else to do this other than just go back into that mode.
Well,
I think I know the Sheahon Nation pretty well. And I think as football fans, I think they're the types that want to see steady progress. And certainly, we don't want to settle for limiting ourselves, so steady progress and bringing it up to a high level.
Shane Jones was on a 25-6 run when Breezy popped his groin. He continued to play. Since then, it's like 6-25 or something like that, 5-26. Does the fact that he has had success with guys as talented as Brady and then guys like Castle, do you think a quarterback is so important?
Absolutely. Yes, as an old football coach, I would tell you that you guys watch as much football as I do. The trigger man's incredibly important. I don't care if you're running the pro style or the spread or the option. If you don't have the right trigger guy, it's not going to result in wins.
One of the mantras in this coaching search was, "Oh, you can't win at Kansas." Do we have short memories here? Is 2007?
Amen.
I mean, do you find that a lot?
I didn't find that with the coaches.
Yeah.
Coaches are hungry. Coaches all think they can win, and I didn't have one coach out there that thought that was a problem. And part of that's getting down in the ditch with them and talking about talking football speak and what you think you need and what they think you need and comparing notes. And there was no one that I met that thought that couldn't be done at the University of Kansas.
You ghosted on us. You disappeared for a long time. And you touched on it earlier. Why did you decide to do it that way? And what were you? Were you just bouncing around from town to town, airport to airport? All those
a lot of travel. I'm never one to tell you how hard I work, because as a coach, when a player's telling you how hard he works, he's not working. So it was just time to go to work. And as I shared with you earlier, it wasn't for me. It actually pained me not to be able to communicate with some people. But it was to protect the people I was talking to. And I learned that as a coach. And I got involved in some situations as a coach where when something would get found out, you then couldn't make the move. And so your life gets affected by things that didn't have anything to do with you or that institution. And so really, that was for them as much as anything.
Did you have any talk to 5 to 10 other people about Charlie? Were any of them working at Notre Dame at the time that Charlie was there?
Yes.
Did you have anybody bring up the conference stuff that's happened in the last few years, or what might happen in the future with the conference?
So did we visit about that?
Yeah, with anybody that you interviewed?
Some people really didn't talk much about it. I think people just realize we're in the business right now. We all are in the leagues we are, and you go play who you play on any given Saturday.
Shane, what was the timeline again? When did you pick up the phone and call him as representative? How did we get him?
Well, I called him. I called Coach Muschamp.
Right.
I actually sent him a text. This would be Thursday morning. I want to say it's about 2 a.m.
Yesterday?
Okay.
Wednesday night.
Thursday morning.
Okay.
I said, Coach, I'd really like to visit with Coach here. Would you call me as soon as you can? I wanted to make sure when he woke up that didn't just hit him. And I was staying up, as you can tell, fairly late at night, and had been narrowing down. He was on my list initially. And through people, in the business, I was careening through different candidates, and he brought to bear so many of the things I was looking for in terms of criteria. I was looking for someone who'd been a strong coordinator, offense or defense. In particular, this time around, I just had a hunch. In this league, where people are putting up so many points, if I could find an offensive guy, that'd be important. What I mean by is someone who'd been a coordinator, preferably someone then who'd become a head coach, was either a sitting head coach or former head coach, preferably at the BCS level. And then I threw in there just for kicks, if someone had spent time in the NFL, because so many kids these days that's part of the recruiting process. They all want to get to the NFL. That'd be awful nice too. At the end of the day, this man checked off a lot of those boxes, and then you throw in, and it was neat. We didn't talk about it much here, but a guy who, been in some Super Bowls and BCS bowl games, and those are things that kids like.
And you just said at the end of the day, it really was at the end of the day. That seems kind of quick. Is it?
Were you surprised?
Yeah. Yes. But sometimes you just get a fit. He talked about fit. I think this man has it. I'm not trying to be cute. And I think you can see today. And I wouldn't have guessed that when I went in to meet him. And I think he's a fit for us. I enjoy it. I think you enjoyed it. I think he's. I heard the questions. I don't know who he was 5 or 10 years ago, but I really like who he is now.
Do you think you having the football background that you did, do you think that helps you more or could hurt you, possibility?
I'll tell you what I heard from the coaches I talked to. I think it got my foot in the door with a number of coaches. That, Sheahon, you're a football guy, I'll talk to you. That's about as far as it went. Okay, anything beyond that would be arrogant. Just got my foot in the door.
Dr. Zenger, hope you ask questions that maybe
probably more than I wanted.
A basketball guy wouldn't.
Yeah, probably more than I wanted. And as you know, I never interfere with the coach, X's and O's and things like that. And I've pledged that to Coach Weis.
Did Coach Weis hear through the grapevine you had been talking to people about him? I mean, did they pick up the phone?
I think he knew we were. There were ideas bouncing until I finally said, "Here,
You mentioned the humbling experience when you sat down with him. You learned some things that you probably in the preconceived notions.
Yes.
What were a couple of those things?
I went through what you're going through now. I sat down and I'd seen what he kind of talked about and just so self-effacing. He started out saying, "Let me just tell you a little bit about myself," and I thought, "Oh wow, here we go." 10 minutes later, I was feeling pretty self-righteous. When he sits there and tells you his life story and what he's all about, it wasn't anything that I thought. And that's what you see is what you get. This is who he is. And then as I checked with others, that's who, he's a disciplinarian. These kids, they're gonna find that. But this guy, his former players love him. He has the ability to recruit. He recruited me. And he has a way he's engaging. He can shift from that old ball coach to dad. That was.
As far as the off season, it sounds like it's going to be very interesting for these kids. What's kind of your reaction to that?
As an ex-football coach, that's what I would expect.
How much of this do you think is just proving to himself that Notre Dame was not what he's or not how good he was?
I really don't know because we didn't get into much of that at all. But,
I'm just asking you to speculate.
I tell you this: if it made him hungrier, I like that.
You talk a lot about Kansas values.
Yes.
What do you see in him that might be Kansas values?
The discipline, the attention to detail, the work ethic. And I'll start with that, really. More than anything, I love football coaches that's all they do, and that's what he does. It's that and his family. And what I've heard, he gets in the office about 4:30 in the morning. And might meet him here for coffee once in a while.
There was a rumor today that you guys already sold 300 more season tickets just today.
I heard something about that, but I can't verify it. I haven't been around the ticket office much today.
But I mean, you think this name alone generates excitement for Gator football?
Well, I've heard that from folks, and I would hope so. But like I said before, that's icing on the cake. I just want to find the right football coach for these young guys.
Football is an important thing to any college program, though. It brings in booster money, ticket sales. So, I mean, is this, I think, obvious question, but the best hire you can find in Gator?
I believe so. That's what I set out to do. We did it.
How many names dropped off your initial list because they were hired by other people?
No one was hired that I was in the process of wanting to offer. So things went very well, and we ended up where we wanted to be.
When you talked with your friend Mike Leach, did he tell you, look, if I'm not going to drop the lawsuits, did you talk about the lawsuits?
No, we didn't.
You didn't talk at all?
No.
He just had found a place.
No.
Shane, when you met with...
I didn't have to ask that question. That's something he and I talked about a year ago. His situation with that, but again, that's personal for him.
Yeah.
Shane, when you met with Charlie, how much did you spend time explaining to him the unique challenges of winning at this particular place?
Probably more than he wanted. At times you have to, when you're doing that, you have to shut up and let the other guy talk. But you want to make sure he understands.
What types of things did you mention to him about winning here that are unique?
Well, he mentioned, more than anything, the culture that's evolved here in a lot of sports, not just football. That really we need to change the culture. And let me stop there. And I shared with him and everybody else. This school won the Orange Bowl in 2008. So we're not talking about a place that doesn't have history. This is the same home of John Hadel and Gale Sayers and Riggins and Bobby Douglas and on and on and on. Dolan Cromwell. So, you know, in the coaching world out there, people know you can win here. And that was another thing that I didn't have to sell real hard.
Did you anticipate the day that you interviewed Coach Weis that he would accept on the same day?
No, I didn't anticipate, but I was prepared. I knew I was going to go for it. If it worked, if I liked it, if it all worked, then why meet with a guy like this if you weren't going to go for it?
Was there one guy who gave a great recommendation who you wouldn't mind saying that got you thinking, Weis, that triggered something?
Again, I kind of need to protect those people. But yes, there was someone very significant that really got me excited about it.
Some people might say, why not hire a young up-and-coming coordinator, perhaps? Why is this better fit?
Well, that was tempting, and I looked at all types. But really, for this program right now, at the end of the day, after talking to multiple coaches and having gotten to know our program a little bit, and spending time with Coach Mitchell and others, it could have been a young coordinator who could have done this. But I really felt someone who'd been a head coach or currently was a head coach and had been through a lot of trials and tribulations at the highest level was who could bring that type of message to these kids. And I saw that today as he started to interact with them.
Was that something that you talked about, was keeping Reggie on board and making sure that he was here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. When I made him the assistant head coach, or the interim head coach, that was, I wouldn't make someone an interim head coach if they weren't going to stay. They wouldn't have any authority or power then. So.
What kind of timeline are you looking at or hoping for the offense coordinator, defense coordinator?
That's totally up to coach. I'm now back to being an AD.
How difficult was the last month, having to make a decision and then pull the trigger on it and then come out and do this?
If you're the right kind of person, very difficult. And you know that. I've been through this before, and so, particularly in their first years in AD. The last thing on earth you want to do is terminate a coach, particularly someone like Coach Gill. He's one of the finest men I've ever met. And then you know what's coming after that. The barrage, the hours, the work, and so on and so forth. So I was prepared, and I told my family goodbye, and really told them, don't know when I'm coming back. That part got a little tough. I ran out of clothes 5 days ago. I had a lot of cologne.
We know how we view this program, and we're pretty close to it. We see the facilities. What's the national, when you talk to football people around the country, not fans or media, but football people, what's their impression of Kansas football right now?
Great potential, and that it's recently been done. That's what every coach hit me with. That's what gave them interest.
When you were talking to Charlie, I know it's supposed to be all business, but did you, just out of curiosity, say, how do you do it with all these quarterbacks? Or is there plenty of time?
No, I didn't. There's plenty of time for that. We didn't get to. I didn't ask it in that way, but we got into some good X and O philosophy. Not pure X and O's, but what he does with quarterbacks, who he is, how he views them. But the other side of the ball, I kind of figured he had that part. So you talk about staffing and how he views that, and you do that with every coach, and the philosophy comes out. It's really if your philosophies match. And again, I didn't go in saying we got to have a spread, or we got to have a pro style, we got to have an option. It's the right guy with the right message. I was taught by my bosses in the past, all systems work. Just have a system and stay true to it.
I think you used the word grueling. What were the 5 hours like for you?
Life-changing for both of us, so you're not going to take that lightly.
Did you meet Charlie at his house?
I initially did, and moved from there.
There were reports, initially reports that Coach Muschamp didn't know about this. I didn't even know he was interviewing. That was the first thing that came out on radio. What?
I think that got corrected.
But didn't Coach Muschamp say that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I heard it on radio.
No, he changed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I texted him, and then he called me back. And then
he changed it at the Gator Bowl press conference. Yeah.
Now, it initially started at his house in Ocala?
Yes.
And then did you go to New Jersey?
Yep.
And why New Jersey?
Well, that's where the chancellor was.
Oh, okay.
This continued. This was quite a process.
And how soon did the chancellor first hear Charlie Weis's name?
When I started the process, he was part of it.
That's what that was.
You're a football guy, and you've seen KU line up. You know what you got across the state in Coach Snyder. I mean, you got Bob Stoops down at Oklahoma. You got some big-time coaches in this league, and now it looks like Oklahoma State with their facilities. Can you talk about the challenge that this program faces, that Charlie faces, and how you think he'll succeed?
I think you saw from him great respect for all those folks. And that's one of the things I like about Charlie. Here's a man who's been through some battles against some pretty good programs. Big 12 is the good conference in the country. And I need a guy who was up to that task.
You kind of alluded to this as maybe being your experience that there's a perception of who Charlie Weis is, but the guy is different.
Yeah.
Where do you think that disconnect comes from, and how is he different? Maybe?
I have no idea, other than, I was sitting at the same press conference you guys were, and he talked about at Notre Dame that anything you say becomes national news, and it comes in forms of sound bites and things like that. So when you spend any length of period of time with him, it didn't take long. When the guy's infectious. His laughter, his jokes, his humor. Yeah, he's a disciplinarian, but he mixes it in well. And it didn't take long to get that. I enjoyed myself with him, and I let my guard down after a while about that, because I went in guarded, I'll admit that.